calling the derived class constructor. Other programming languages implicitly call the superclass constructor before calling derived class constructor. And generally, when you create an object like this, then first they try to call derived class constructor before the superclass constructor. They cannot call that. That's the reason it shows invalid. It shows an error in this point. It shows an error in this point. But it will not show an error in TypeScript, because in TypeScript, derived class object is already having a call for superclass constructor. So it is possible. You can allocate the memory and use the memory, right? Why you need to do that in various situations, you will understand when you are working with the environment. So these are all consequences and points you need to understand while working with the TypeScript, right? So in TypeScript, this is possible. In other object-oriented programming, it is not possible. It is not possible, right? So that is what all about basic of inheritance. So we have single inheritance, multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance. And single and multi-level inheritance are supported for classes. Multiple inheritance is supported only for interface. It is not supported for classes. Another important point is, remember this one, important is, so another important point is multiple inheritance type implementation is supported in classes. Multiple inheritance type implementation is supported in classes. So multiple inheritance type implementation is supported in classes. Multiple inheritance is not supported for classes, but multiple inheritance type implementation is supported in classes. So what does this mean? What do you mean by multiple inheritance type implementation in classes? Actually, multiple inheritance type implementation is supported in classes. It means actually, what does it mean? So that a single TypeScript class can implement multiple contracts. That is important. A single TypeScript class can implement multiple contracts, but cannot extend multiple classes. That means a TypeScript class cannot extend multiple classes, but a TypeScript class can implement multiple contracts in a multiple inheritance type mechanism. That means for contracts, multiple inheritance is supported. For class also, for example, what does this mean? Practically, I will show you. For example, suppose I am defining here an interface. The interface name is like version. So interface name we defined as version. So we are using interface version 1. It is an interface. This version 1 is having a specification for parameters of a string type. Okay. Another interface, we are having version 2, and we are having functions as string type. We are defining parameters and functions, right? Now important here, we are creating a class called, suppose, Typescript. This Typescript class can implement the contracts. It implements the contracts. Remember, contracts are not extended. Contracts are implemented by a class. That means usually a class is designed by implementing the contracts. The classes are designed by implementing the contracts. What a class should have, what should be the members of a class that are defined by contracts. That means a class is not designed directly. So you see in real world development, every class go to its official definition of architecture and see every class is derived from a contract only. It implements a contract only. And that means a class is not designed directly. A class is not designed directly. Usually, a class is designed by implementing the contracts. And here, a class can implement, so version 1, comma, version 2, version 2. This is possible. And why it is showing a error? Because parameters and functions are interfaces. That means members. They are contract members. All contracts members must be implemented. How to implement contract members? Public parameters, and it is a string type is equal to rest parameters. Okay, second one, next one is public functions. So functions, and it is a string type, and it is anonymous functions. See, if they are optional parameters, no problem. But if they are mandatory, have to implement. Now this is possible. Now observe here, a class is supporting multiple inheritance type technique in implementation, not in extensibility. In extensibility, it will not support multiple inheritance. So in implementation, it will support. So what is implementation, right? That means a class is adopting the contracts and it is designed according to the contracts. So the class is adapting the contracts and it is designed according to the contracts. So a class is actually designed from a contract only. So if anyone asks what is the prototype for a class, class itself is a prototype for creating object. So what is a prototype for class? That means how we design class, how the class, what members class should have. That is decided by contracts. And every class in real world development is not directly designed. First, we prepare a contract for it. And according to the contract, only classes are designed. And when classes are implementing contracts, they support multiple inheritance type implementation. Multiple inheritance type implementation, only with contracts it is possible. Because why it is possible with contract? Because here the point is the contract doesn't contain a constructor. Contract doesn't contain a constructor. Not only that, implementation is a mechanism where you are not extending the code. You are not extending the code. You are just using the features of existing code here. You are not extending. You are just using as rules. If you are just using as rules, observe carefully. I will show you. So LET, some TypeScript is equal to, so new TypeScript. we are